8:24 CFM, Paul Moira and Bags. You've got showers today, tops of 30. Right now we have 27 degrees. We're talking about the water this morning.
Now, we're lucky enough to have Ron Clarke, our Mayor of the city, on the phone. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning.
We appreciate your time this morning because there's a few people that are sort of getting agitated, including ourselves, Ron, because we feel like as a city that it's not good enough and we're not being represented well. So we kind of want to get to the bottom of it. And just before Christmas, I noticed that you were kind of passing a little bit of the blame to the state government, which is fine, and it shifted around a little bit. Then you were after All Connects a couple of weeks ago, saying it wasn't good enough, and now you're saying that the other two councils aren't coming on board to try and put the pressure on to make the changes.
Who's
with All
to
Connects.
blame?
We kind of want to know who you're pointing the finger. What can be done for us? We need answers.
I wish we could give them to you. We've only told everybody exactly what's happening. The state government took over our water against our objections and the whole of South East Queensland's objections. They took it over. They took over the bulk water mainly, put in a program of 20% increases for 10 years. We're only halfway into that program. They'll be increasing it by another 100% come 2017. And that's what I've been protesting from the time they took it up 3 years ago. Eventually our water will cost $4 per kilolitre because of this intrusion. The other intrusion is the imposition of All Connects on us as a retailer. We've been keeping our rises down here to a minimum, our sewage and our wastewater fees, and we've managed to keep those. For example, they've gone up by only 18% over the last 4 years.
But Ron, it's been reported that you guys are going to make $90 million over 12 months. That's $90 million.
We don't make anything. The Gold Coast ratepayers make it. We've invested $2.2 billion into our water things. We expect to get a return like every investment in any public utility is. The return will be less than 4%. Wish it was more, but at the same time, if it's going to be more, prices have to go up, and that's the conundrum we're in right now. We've said we were virtually told we have to accept a 20% rise last May for the 1st of July last year for this financial year. And I have said that's enough's enough. We don't want any more increases because that should hold for 4 years. And that's probably exemplified by the fact of the return and the profit that they've been able to tell us for the first time yesterday.
All right, well, Ron, the Gold Coast has some questions for you.
Your calls on CFM now.
And we're opening up the phones on 13 12 16. If you want to ask Ron Clarke any question at all about the water, you can.
Sarah, what do you want to talk to the Mayor about? Sarah, you can ask your question to Ron.
Sarah, you there? No, she must be gone.
All right, we'll go to Ross. Ross, you can have a chat with Ron Clarke right now. He's listening to you.
Hello, Mr. Clarke. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you.
I'd just like to say it's quite ludicrous what's happening within the government and the politics at the moment, how you are just cruelly hurting the little man everywhere, in the pocket, in the health of his mental status and everything like that.
I agree completely.
Well, what you guys seem to do and what you really need, I think, is a fortune teller to look into the crystal ball, because all governments at this stage of the game seem to only look at one little stage of the big picture. The big picture is even going back within a year or two stating the bulletin of you guys in surface need a lot of people to work, all the restaurants, all the lower paid people of society is slowly getting pushed out. Homeless are getting more and more. Right? This is going to stem on to more families on the streets, more people going through hardship. We're supposed to be the lucky country in the world. The way you guys are going about it is just greed. Greed is ruling this world to the max.
Ross, how do we fix it?
Well, that's what you're voted in there for, mate.
Okay, well, we've actually contributed $10 million. We've had a meeting in the Community Cabinet last weekend to talk to Karen Struthers, the Minister for Housing, to try and to launch another program for the homeless on the Gold Coast. We've now got worked with 3 different private companies, commercial companies on the Gold Coast, who are supplying homeless accommodation on the Gold Coast. And we've got employment schemes to employ those that can't get work, and I'm just opening one of those today at Currumbin. So we're doing what we can.
Well, it doesn't seem to be working, though, with the outcry from everyone here on the Gold Coast, including Brucey. We've got Brucey on the phone. What do you want to say to Ron?
Yes, good morning, Ron. How are we?
Good morning. Good, thank you.
Yeah, Bruce Jr. Yeah,
Hey,
look,
Bruce.
look, now listen, Ron. I'm in the building construction industry on the Gold Coast, and at the moment, it's running at like a 10% of what it was running. So it's a pretty fragile industry, and with the water restrictions and the droughts that we've had, you know, the state government has put so much money into the Dugan desal plant, running the huge pipeline at no open costing for the pipeline down, and now we seem to be putting all the bill for that and plus more. I'd used a quarter less water than I used last month, and now my bill was $877 for water that I used a quarter less.
Exactly what I've been screaming. That's what we've been screaming about.
Joke.
Bruce, that's what we've been screaming about for some time. The water charges have gone up from the state government. We didn't want them to take over the Tugan plant. We only wanted 55 megalitres. They took it over, made it 130 megalitres per day production, and then built a $1 billion pipeline to pump that water up to Brisbane, up to the Waivana, where they didn't need it. So, you know, you tell me who's right.
The thing about it, Ron, is that you just keep pressing replay and replaying your same questions and your same
What else
answers.
can we do?
But the thing about it is that nobody at any time told us the outrageous prices that All Connects was going to give us straight up here, and they're saying they're going to give us more. I think it's just like people over in Egypt and the overthrow over there of the government. People should start talking now, refuse to pay their bill, because this is an absolute joke.
I can't advocate not to pay the bill because they'll charge you 11%.